Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to TekTopia, where you may notice I have some peculiarly placed down pieces of plantation, also known as trees, at the bottom of the ravine here, and that's because I've been doing some testing. I need to figure out how to make the lumberjack's job a little bit safer, because right now she spends every day and most of the night, because it takes her so long to get back, out on the surface, and she's risking her life just to get some wood. So today I need to figure out a solution to that problem. Option number one is to test the theory that lumberjacks prioritize trees that are closer to the town hall, and looking at my varied results here, we've only got one tree chopped down and there's a bunch more chopped down on the surface over there. I'd say that's pretty inconclusive, and we need some definite results that are going to guarantee Bray and all of the other following lumberjacks' safety. Option number two, chop down every single tree within the village border. It would definitely solve our problems, but would take a long time and maybe not look so good. Option number three is to place some other block that is not dirt under every single tree. That's how you get a villager to not chop down your custom trees, by the way. That would definitely work. The only trouble is it could be pretty difficult to keep track of, and it's only going to take me forgetting one single tree to make the entire process irrelevant. Thankfully, there is an option 4, and it just so happens to be the easiest of the bunch. And all we have to do is find our lumberjack. Oh, hello, that actually scared me then. I physically jumped. Here she is, with her head in a rock. Okay, may have to change that up. Let me break that for you. You seem to be stuck. All we have to do is go to this section here, untick birch and untick oak, so that she can only harvest jungle and spruce, and that is what we will make an underground tree farm out of. Come to think of it, there are not actually too many oak trees within the village borders. I could reasonably put something under all of these to make them not count as actual trees. Like if I just go all the way over to here somewhere the village border is. So really it's only the ones in this short area over here. So I may still do that just so we can actually have some oak trees, and we'll just not have birch in this village, which is fine. So yeah, I may do that, but definitely we will be able to have spruce and jungle. You know what, while it's on my mind, I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that. I may have to wait until morning because I don't really want to be doing this at nighttime, but it shouldn't be too bad. All I'm really gonna do is grab all of my stone here underneath each of the trees. I'll replace the dirt with some stone, fill it back in, and I will just mark it on the top here so I can visually see which trees I've done and which ones I haven't. Obviously would be a little bit different doing the birch with how many of them there are, but I think for this small amount it shouldn't be too bad. I think I have managed to get all of the trees here. I'm gonna do a couple more laps around before I make this final and get rid of all the stone blocks, but pretty certain I've got them all, at least fingers crossed anyway. Hello pig, time to head inside because it's once again nighttime and I don't want to die out here. So yeah, today we are mainly going to be focusing on an underground tree farm, which haven't really decided where it's gonna go just yet. It would be cool to have it maybe over here, but I've got 3 sections, you know, the top level, the middle level, and the bottom level here at the final point of the ravine, which I'm kind of saving for other things, and I'm not too fussed about having the tree farm over here, so I might find another spot for it. But honestly guys, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the underground tree farm, which is very unlike me. You guys know I like to plan my builds before in creative, but this one I'm just gonna go for it. I obviously need to dig out an area, so I'm gonna have to figure out the general size of what I'm gonna need, but yeah, we're just gonna go with the flow today and see where we end up. This could either be really cool or an entire catastrophe. I really need a better XP farm. Digging out the hole that we are currently in the process of requires many swings of the pickaxe, so I of course had to go and repair them all beforehand, and sitting at my skeleton spawner for hours on end is what it felt like. Isn't exactly my favorite use of time, so I'm thinking soon, sometime in the future, I should go build an enderman farm or zombie XP farm or something like that. Just something that's a little better than a early game skeleton spawner, because it's probably going to be used a lot for this build, for this village I should say. We're going to do a whole lot of digging, so better to get to that sooner rather than later. Whew, buddy. Good thing I enjoy speed mining, right? So that was about 3.5 hours worth of work, all within 40 seconds. It just zipped by like that, and honestly, I thought this would be bigger. Now it's all done, but I think that's mainly because I spent a lot of time texturizing the walls and the ceiling and getting it to look like this, which you actually cannot see very well, so let's pop a night vision potion. There we go. You can see I've got cobble and andesite in the ceiling, and I've put a little bit of gravel in the wall. Obviously can't have gravel in the ceiling because of gravity. We've got our cobblestone cracks, and hopefully this is symmetrical. I'm not going to look too much at it, because if it's not, then I'm going to be very sad. I'm sure you guys will let me know if it's not in the comments. But yeah, this is a big room, and I don't really know where to go from here. We'll do a little bit of explaining about that in a second, but I think real quick I just want to go up to the surface and check on my villagers, because I haven't done that in the past few hours, so hopefully they're still alive. In theory, they should be, because I would have had a death message if one of them had have died or taken any damage, so it's nighttime at the moment. They should be in their house, which is on this level here, through these stone bricks, and I hear a heart. This is the first heart of the village. A child ready to be spawned in when we do eventually have a school. Okay, so cool, they are safe and alive. How are the happiness levels doing? Ooh, not too good with you. 72, I mean, it's not bad. Okay, Bray is nice and happy, which is good. Yeah, I don't know why you're particularly unhappy. Maybe he needs some farmer friends. Bray has lots of things to do up on the surface, so, and you're gonna have a whole tree farm soon, Bray. I bet she's very excited. She's dreaming about it. But yeah, okay, so far so good. I was kind of worried about them. I almost forgot I was building a TekTopia village with living residents inside. I was down there for so long. Okay, so let's talk about the next step for our giant hole here. Obviously, it's not just going to stay like this. We need to make it look a little less grey, shall we say. And my original plan was, while I was digging this out, I was thinking of what I could do with it. And my first thought was to create some sort of natural looking landscape down here on the floor to make it look like the overworld has just come down onto the floor here, but I've tried that sort of thing before, trying to replicate it underground, and it really didn't turn out too well, and I honestly don't think I can execute it to a standard that I would be happy with, so scrap that idea, but we're gonna keep a similar idea. So here's the plan. In the center, marked by that stone block there, which is directly underneath our beacon, is going to be a big old custom tree. Really not looking forward to building that. I do not enjoy doing them, but I think it would look really cool. And then maybe we're going to have like 3 rings going all the way around this circle here, and possibly cutting it up into thirds. So spruce oak jungle, you know, that sort of thing. And maybe add in a couple of streams and try and make it look a little bit natural, but also man-made at the same time. I've got a bit of a vision in my head, and honestly I don't know whether it's going to look good or not, but we're just going to give it a go and see if I can come up with anything. Actually, before we start that, I just want to mention the sounds you are currently hearing. There are a lot of mobs on the ceiling here, and that is absolutely fine. We've even got one poking through here, holding a shovel. I intentionally left this all unlit, just so there would be more chance for them to spawn up there in a place where there's no chance of, like, they can't get to my villagers from the ceiling, right? But it just makes it less likely for them to actually spawn inside of the ravine here, where they could get to my villagers. So it's kind of like a purposeful dark spot in the world. The first thing I had to do was lower the entire floor down, so once again we are back to digging, and pretty much all I'm doing is copying the pattern we have on the ceiling, but for the floor, and I went about doing this in a really weird way and not at all the most efficient way to dig it out like this, so it took me like 3 times as long as I actually should have, and yeah, pretty much I'm just copying the ceiling, and that was going well until I realized I want to have 3 layers, not 4. So pretty much everything I've just been doing here is entirely pointless, because I'm going to cover it up with grass now, not keeping with the pattern I already had laid out. So that's a nice waste of an hour, but yeah, that's just the way it is sometimes, I suppose. So now we're covering all of it up with grass, and we're having just 3 different layers instead of 4, where we'll have all of our trees on. Whether each circle has its own tree type or I split it up into thirds, I'm not entirely sure about that yet, but I thought it'd be nice to have it built on different Y levels to make it look a little bit more interesting instead of just having it completely flat. So we're doing that, and yeah, filling out the rings here with grass, and then in the middle of each of the grass layers we're having just some rock formations similar to what we have at the top of the ravine, just making it look a bit more rough and raggedy. And then we're going to put some water just in that little area to make it a bit more colourful, and I think it's quite nice to have a stream, of course. So yeah, it's pretty much just rings of grass and river, or maybe streams is the best way to call this, although it's not moving, so maybe it's a really long and circular puddle. Now, we are by no means finished with this area here. There's still lots more I've got to do, such as actually adding in all of the trees, of course. I need to figure out a way to get up to the ravine itself, because at the moment it's a ladder and villagers are not going to be able to use that, so that could potentially be a bit tricky to figure something out with that. And I also need to get some bridges going from each of these levels, because currently I don't think the villagers would actually pathfind further than any of these blocks here, because they try and avoid water for the most part, I think anyway. So yeah, we're going to have a bridge, a very, very small mini bridge on each of the levels here going down so they can access all areas. And I'm thinking maybe to add in some support beams and just general pillars to make this place look a bit more sturdy. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that though, because the wood can often like collide with the trees, and then the pillars, if they're made of wood, actually get cut down, and it can be a whole thing. But I'll maybe wait until the trees are in place to decide upon that. And the thing that I've got to do now, which I've been dreading, is the big old custom tree in the center. Now, there may be a time lapse for this, there may not. It truly depends on how well it goes, but I imagine I'm going to be doing this for a while, so wish me luck. So things look a little bit different in here. To begin with, shaders, of course, we're putting them on every now and again in this series from here on out, just because it's super pretty, right? But second of all, I kind of finished everything up in here after I did this tree. So let's start off with the actual tree. Genuinely, this wasn't too bad at all. I would almost say I enjoyed it, in a way. Nothing really went wrong whilst I was building it, and it all came out pretty good. I didn't mean for the bottom of the trunk to have this much chunk to it, but there we are, that's how it turned out, and I actually kind of like the look of it. The leaves look good, we've got some glowstone up there giving it a bit of shine, and yeah, I'd say for the tree, very happy. Oops, sorry. Very happy with it. I'm going to refer to it as the Tree of Life, because it's going to give life to all of the other trees that will be in this room eventually. So yeah, we've got our big tree in the middle, and as you can see, yeah, everything else is done. So first of all, these spots right here in between all of the trapdoors are where the saplings are going to go. And I had to obviously light up this room to make sure no mobs spawned, and it doesn't look particularly good with the trapdoors with the glowstone underneath. I know, but it's that or torches plastered everywhere, or we use our cheaty invisible lighting mod, which I was tempted for this room, but I'm going to try my best not to for this village. So yeah, we've got that underneath, and I've tried to hide it best I can with all of this grass and flowers and everything, and I think it does an okay job at that, honestly. And yeah, these are the bridges I was talking about. Huge bridges connecting the paths. No, they're very tiny. Anything I did that was bigger than this didn't look particularly good. So yeah, that is the room done here. I may still add some supports in, but honestly, I don't really want to ruin the look of this. I quite like it how it is. Feel free to shoot me your suggestions if you have any ideas of how we could make this look more supportive without really getting in the way of this. Having said that, we're now going to go plant some trees in these spots, which is going to block basically everything that we've done so far. Planting all of these trees in honestly couldn't come any quicker. I have had a couple of incidents, shall we say. Let's get away from this rain so it doesn't destroy the video. But so, well, I had a problem with this door right here. whilst I was doing everything underground, a zombie came and broke it down, meaning this became irrelevant, it stopped being shiny, and our poor villagers in here were just stuck, homeless, wondering what to do, and that is why their happiness is so low, because, oh, actually, Bray's pretty good. Okay, I don't know what you've done to get so happy, but yeah, they were at 0 happiness for a very long time because they were just stood around doing nothing at night time. Bray has also had some run-ins with mobs, managed to run away, and I've saved her a couple of times. So yeah, it's going to be really good to get her just underground so she doesn't have to go on the surface here. But in regards to this, the door problem, zombies will only break them down on hard difficulty. If I changed it to normal, they would try and break them, but they wouldn't actually destroy them. So for now, I'm going to leave it at hard. But if it continues to be a problem, then I may lower it down to normal just because it's not going to make a difference to me, really. And yeah, if my houses keep becoming, you know, not houses, that could be an issue. I've got my saplings in hand and I'm ready to go plant them. So we have 3 trees, and I think the best way to go about this is to have 1 sapling per each ring. Now I know the ring, or the sapling, sorry, that is going to go on this outer ring is going to have more trees than any of them. The second is going to have the second amount, and the third, obviously not very many trees down here. And the main reason I'm doing that, instead of splitting the room up into thirds, so I could, you know, do the spruce trees over in this general area, the jungle over in here, and then all of the oak can go in this section. The trouble with that is, I cannot really put oak saplings on the bottom level here because there is a chance that they will grow up to be a big, ginormous, annoying tree, and then that could potentially connect with our custom tree of life over here, which I don't really want to do. So I'm going to put the spruce ones on the bottom here because I think they should be safe and not be able to touch any of those leaves. On the second level, we're going to have jungle, and then at the top one, we're going to have oak. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it. Hopefully it looks cool once they're all grown up, and I guess time to get to planting. As soon as I finished planting all of those saplings, I very excitedly ran over and found Bray, ready to change all of these settings around to allow her to explore her new tree chopping facility, and then I realized, 1, she is in need of an axe, 2, there is no actual way for her to get to the tree farm. Little bit of an oversight on my end. It's nothing too complicated, but I think it does the job. Leads from the top of our ravine all the way down until we reach the storage room of the tree farm with all my resources, and we have this entrance. It could be a little better. No, just kidding. That is the old entrance that I temporarily put in place for Bray to use until I set up a more permanent location over here through our man-made forest to this thing, which is pretty much the same as that, but it looks a little fancier. So yeah, just does this all the way up to the surface of the ravine, or the bottom of the ravine I should say, and we end up over here. So yeah, nothing too extreme or extravagant. I was going to do like a cave sort of thing winding all the way down, but this was the easy option. I was having a couple of issues with the lighting down here. In fact, not even the lighting itself, it was giving off enough light, it was just how I was covering it up. So originally I was doing this, putting the glowstone down and putting a trapdoor on top of it. Trouble is, if there is a block here, the villager cannot fit into this gap like I can. So Bray got stuck a couple of times and had to give up on that idea, so then I moved it down to here, put the glowstone down a block, and the trapdoor flat on the surface. You think that wouldn't cause an issue, but believe you me, it did. She got stuck many times, so I needed to change out with some sort of solid block, basically something that wasn't a trapdoor. So I've replaced everything with leaves, and so far so good. Let's hope she doesn't get stuck again and nearly starve to death like she did before. I would say for the most part we are now finished with our underground tree farm. There's still a couple of things I still have to do, like bringing up all of my items that are pretty much completely filled to the brim worth of stone and other stuff like that. So that should be fun, but I will do that later. Let's just cover up for now in a very poor fashion. But off camera I also did another thing somewhere else in the ravine, so let's go check that out now. I made another home over here. As I said last episode, or the episode before, I cannot really remember at this point, but I'm going to be doing most of these off camera because they're going to be a similar thing to each other and not really varying too much to take much notice of, but I'll show you around quickly. We've got some bookshelves in this one, some lovely paintings on the wall, of course our beds and chairs for the villagers themselves. Our support beams holding up the cave is a little bit different to the other one, and I really like this thing over here. We have a big old fire keeping this nice and toasty, as well as a window out the front, and honestly, despite being iron bars looking like a jail of sorts, it looks super cozy when you look through. I really like the look of it through there. So yeah, we now have enough room in here for 4 new villagers, which I'm going to have a think what I want to hire, and yeah, we can go buy some tokens. First things first, of course, we have to buy the 4-person home itself from the architect. Hello, good sir. Where is this token? Over here for 13 emeralds. It's all so cheap at the moment. I'm sure that won't last very long though, but I'm gonna appreciate it while it lasts before it starts turning into blocks of emeralds to buy everything else. And from our tradesman over here, I'm thinking we get 3 farmers and 1 lumberjack. So that way we have 1 farmer for each crop type. So there's our lumberjack, and then we have, you know, another lumberjack just because why not? We built a giant tree farm, we may as well make some use out of it. Where are our farmers? These ones? Yep, so we want 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's go place our token down and we shall await some nomads. So I'm in the process of waiting for some nomads, and our villager here has just decided to take a walk. I don't know where he's... Oh, that's where you're going. Okay. I'm going to need to break all these, otherwise you're going to keep leaving. Okay, maybe he's not going there. Wait, yes you are. Yes, he's going to harvest the sugarcane. So I could either untick gather sugarcane, but it's probably good for him to gather that. So yeah, we'll set up some sort of sugarcane farm inside the ravine at some point or another. But for now, I'm just going to go around and break it all. I think it's also probably safe to get rid of these stone blocks by now. Only 1 nomad today by the looks of it. It's nearing nighttime now, so I'm gonna hurry up and give Grace here a farmer's token. And I think I explained this last episode, but what I like to do with my farmers is equal out the amount of farmers we have to individual crops. So we already have a potato farmer, we are gonna make this one a carrot farmer. Oh man, we're on a bit of a tight schedule here. The nomads have only just arrived into town. Apparently they have many hills to climb, so I'm hoping to quickly scan through all of these and decide which ones are going to be... Whoa, 31 intelligence. I'm not even going to bother looking at the rest. You can become the lumberjack if you could hold still. There you go. Steveren? Kind of error, something. That is our lumberjack. Okay, see if I can quickly look through the rest of them. Falcon Falk, a great name, is going to become our beetroot farmer. It is now pitch black outside, and I think you 2 are on your way home. Hopefully you're not going to disappear if I click on you. No, you're not. Okay, probably should have made you the lumberjack, Madison, but you can become the wheat farmer. And there goes the final nomad off to another village. Come back again another day, Norris, and you may just get lucky. Hopefully you survived the trip home, although I don't think your chances are very good since you're walking out into the pitch black, but good luck, buddy. Okay, oh, there's another one. Hang on, did Norris just duplicate in front of my eyes, or are you somebody different? Hang on, you're another Norris. Or was that guy Norris? Were they both Norrises? Very weird, but that was a close call, guys. I really didn't think I was going to be able to get all of them, but turns out nomads stick around a bit longer than I thought they did. Oh, sleepy villagers, you have had a long day of travelling, my good friends, and now you're safe and sound in your cozy, cavernous home, and yeah, hope you enjoy your house here. By the way, I did change around thingy stats here. Steveren Carnarvon probably is how you say it. Not whatever I attempted to do earlier, but anyway, guys, I think that is going to be it for today's episode. Let's quickly run down to the tree farm and take one final look at it, because this took a surprising amount of time. I really was not expecting to spend quite the length of hours I did on this episode, but there we go. I've had fun making this. Of course, let me know your suggestions of how we can improve this, and yeah, any changes you'd like to see, I will be sure to take note of them. Our tree of life here in the center, however, is a little bit covered up by the rest of the trees surrounding it, but that's okay. We got a good look before we planted all of these down. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.